Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Very good to have you on the show, sir.
Good to be with you.
Let's start with what was the best part of the president's speech last night, and what did you think was the weakest?
Well, I think the best part was the president's recognition that, in fact, we are in much better shape than we were 6 years ago when Bush left office and when we were losing 700,000 jobs a month. I think the weakest part is that there was not a full recognition that while we have made enormous progress, the reality is that real unemployment, Mika, is not 5.5%, it is 11%, including those people who have given up looking for work and are working part-time. Youth unemployment remains 18%, and as part of a 40-year trajectory, the American middle class continues to decline, and we need very bold action.
Looking at those numbers, and also let's add wages to the pot here. And has the president proposed anything that can actually address those two issues that will actually get through Congress, that will pass, that he can agree with Republicans on?
Well, the question is whether the Republicans will agree with the American people. The American people are very clear that we need to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. And if we do that, we can create millions of decent-paying jobs. The American people are pretty clear that college today is unaffordable, and that we need bold action to make it more affordable. So the issue is, can we rally the American people to stand up for the middle class rather than continue to give tax breaks to the wealthy and large corporations?
The president's going on the road to sell his proposals, Bob Franken, though. I think the question is, what is the actual... What can get done? What is actually going to get through this?
Senator, the impression people get is that nothing is going to get through. You have all these proposals that are made, and then you have a rejection of them by the other side, which is the Republicans in this case. Why even bother with these proposals? Why not come up with more limited ones that at least can start the ball rolling in the right direction?
Well, I think the answer is that the country faces very, very serious problems, and they need serious solutions. The Republican proposal is to cut Social Security, cut Medicare, and give tax breaks to the rich. I think what our job is to rally the American people to give the Republicans something they have got to move forward on, because that's what the American people want.
But Senator, let me repeat what the Republican point of view, which is if you, in fact, come up with policies that are unfriendly to what they call the job creators, the expansion is going to stop.
Yes, that's called trickle-down economics, what the first Bush called voodoo economics, giving tax breaks to the rich and large corporations and miraculously you create jobs. There is no historical, factual foundation for that point of view. It is a wrong point of view.
Sam Stein.
Yeah, there was a bit of a contradiction that liberals pointed out to in the wake of the speech, which is that speech largely focused on middle-class economics, contained within it a line about pushing these trade authorities, these trade agreements with China, for instance, and other countries. It has obviously progressives like yourself very worried, in part because there's very little transparency about what's in these deals. Let me ask you, Senator, what would you need? What kind of assurances would you need from the administration to get on board something like granting him Trade Promotion Authority and these deals specifically?
Well, when Mika asked me what one of the weak points of the president's speech was, I would say it was the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Look, the truth of the matter is that NAFTA, CAFTA, and permanent normal trade relations with China have been a disaster for American workers. Since 2001, we have lost 60,000 factories in America, not all of it associated with trade, but I expect that a lot of it has been associated with trade and millions of decent-paying jobs. If you have disastrous trade agreements, one after another, why would you want to build on those poorly constructed agreements and go forward with an even bigger one?
Well,
I don't think so.
My question, though, is what kind of assurances could you be given, or are there any assurances you could be given from the administration that would make you believe that you wouldn't be building off those past agreements?
Well, if the administration could tell us very clearly that, in fact, for the first time, we would have a trade agreement that would grow jobs in the United States rather than see factories close down and go to Vietnam, I would give it some thought. But in fact, the president hasn't even bothered to make that case because it's not a case that you can make. The trade agreement, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right, Senator. Just before you go, I'm curious about what you think about some of the 2016 names that have come up in the news, including Mitt Romney looking very serious about jumping back in for a third run for the presidency.
Well, I think, people have a right to bring forth their names and run for president of the United States. The American people will make the final decision on that.
That includes you.
That includes me.
All right. Senator Bernie Sanders, thank you very much. That does it for Morning Joe. The Rundown picks things up in just a moment. Have a great day.